I think once we started, then some other researchers came to study the issue. I myself was supervising 2 doctoral students. One of them, she was my first doctoral student, and she did a study looking at social workers all around Israel, social workers working with the elderly. What time, if they, first of all, if they think it's a problem, and if it's a problem, what type of method do they use? Do they use more treatment methods, or do they use the legal system? Because there were laws in place already at that time that covered also the elderly that you can use. And she found, we thought this will be the situation, that mostly they use treatment, not really activating the legal system enough, which we thought they should. And as a result, this relates also to practice. As a result of her PhD, they started really yearly programs, a program for 1 year to train some of the social workers who work with the elderly, but also officers for the court, because they have an appointment in order to use some of the laws. So this is one example. The second example is another doctoral student. She's a nurse, and she did on institutional abuse. And she also found, the definition was very broad, and she also found quite high rates of abuse. Both in Israel we have private and public institutions, and she found quite high rate. So then we worked with the Ministry of Health, and they started to realize that they have to do something about the issue. And as I'm also presenting today, they not only had circulars, but they started now in every hospital in Israel, every acute hospital, as what we call a violence committee, which is an interdisciplinary committee, and any case of violence, abuse, child, woman, elderly, has to be reported to the committee. The committee has to evaluate and think what they can do in the hospital, what should they do in the community, and they have to report to the Ministry of Health. So here are some examples of research which had already an impact on practice and policy. But I have another example. The example is when we finished the prevalence study, we wanted it to have an impact. So luckily at the time we had access, and the President of Israel was very much socially minded, agreed that we'll have a half a day presenting the findings at the President of Israel house. Okay, so this of course brought a lot of media coverage, and for a week the media dealt also with the issue of elder abuse. So this is of course raising awareness publicly, not only among professionals. Then we took the findings and presented them in the parliament. There is a committee for health and welfare. So we presented the findings, so they started pushing both Ministry of Welfare and Ministry of Health to do more about this issue. And as a result also of this push, and we have a largest NGO with this, with the development of services, the Ministry of Welfare, collaborating with them, decided to create as a pilot in 13 municipalities, it was at the time in the welfare offices, special units to deal with elder abuse. They are manned by social workers trained in aging and in elder abuse. And they work interdisciplinary, they try to involve the community, they try to involve other services. So, and this was very successful, and nowadays almost every municipality has such a special unit operating. And another outcome of this was that an interministerial, interorganizational committee was created with representatives from welfare, from health, from this largest NGO, from some NGOs who give legal advice to the elderly, from the heads of the services for the elderly in the biggest municipalities in Israel. I headed this committee for some time. Now I'm a member of the committee, and each time we just had a meeting not long ago, and you bring an issue from the practice and you try to think what should be done, and if there isn't enough data, then they ask either me or some other people that work in this field to do research in this area. So you have the combination of research, practice, and also policymakers involved.